Hey YouTubers, I'm out here with my dad, and today we are cutting 4 legs for a table that I'm building for our house. I looked on YouTube and couldn't find anything that was real easy on how to cut parallel ends on logs that are obviously twisted because nature grows them any direction it wants. So we're going to walk you through a quick video on how we use a chop saw to cut logs with parallel ends to use for legs on a table. So I'm going to switch the orientation of the camera and let my dad take over from here.
Okay, we have a leg that's kind of crooked here, if you notice, but we want this side parallel with this side here, so when you make it as a leg on the table ain't wobbling. So what I did is I set up a jig with the chop saw, have the chop saw here, and I took a piece of plywood here, made sure it was a 90-degree angle here, 90 here, and also a 90 back to where I put this block to where I'm going to lay the end of the log. This way has to be parallel too, because that's where the log is going to lay up next to. Okay. So over here, I know from here, the end of this blade to here is 28 inches. So once I lay the log in there, this parallel here should be the parallel with the saw here, and we should get a nice good cut there.
And the reason we're doing 28 inches, we're going to do a 30-inch tabletop. We're using 2-inch wood with some plywood for the top. So we need these at 28 inches to be able to get the top to 30. So what are you doing here?
So what I'm going to do, what I need to do is make sure that this is completely flat against this jig here.
So we already pre-cut one end
this side
to approximately
to stand up like this.
Yeah, stand like that. So we cut it just based on approximation, but now we want to make the other end parallel with that first end.
So sometimes it takes a little while to get this orientation just right. Let me take some jigs, like right now I'm going to have to put some jigs underneath here. It'll lift this up high enough. Shims, sorry. To get this proper. Now that's nice and tight right there.
That looks pretty good.
Now the other thing is, I got to look back here. I'm completely off of this side of the saw, and the saw is coming down here. If I start cutting this piece is going to fall down. So I got to make sure that I shim this to keep it from falling down and still get the parallel piece there.
Not parallel over here anymore.
Okay, now it is, right? Okay. Okay, and I'm going to have to shim up behind it. Also, I'm going to have to shim up behind it here so it don't move this way. So right now it's a nice solid piece with the shims I have in there.
And that's kind of tight.
This is tight all the way around. So now I could go ahead and cut this so this won't drop down now, and it should be parallel with that. So we should have a pretty nice log here, even though it's lean, and this is parallel with there, so you can set table or whatever you're going to put on there.
So we've got our table legs, the first one we cut and the second one we cut, and the way that you can check that is you set them there and you put a level on them, and you know that you've got level legs. Now you may have to spin the leg to get it in the same orientation it was on the table, but that gives you 2 level legs for a table.